Thank you, everyone. We have the amazing Cindy Jackson, all the way from Las Vegas, presenting Day 8, working with pain and somatic presentations. Woohoo! Give Cindy a round of applause, everyone, and go.
All right, guys. So I am, let me just put my timer on so I can check my time. So I am going to talk to you guys today about pain. And so we all know what pain is, right? It's a bad feeling. It's a feeling, but it's not a good feeling. And sometimes it can be a nuisance. But the reason why I really want to talk about pain and why I picked this topic is because I think it is one of the most important things. It's life-changing. It costs people a lot of money. It can lead to suicide, addictions, personality changes. You can lose years, so much with pain, right? But at the end of the day, it's just a messenger. Feelings are messengers. And so today we want to work with the messenger that's called pain. That's a big, scary messenger, but that's like literally all it is. Now, the Watkins, which they sort of like predated Dr. Emerson's work, they demonstrated that it's not okay to just use hypnosis and push the pain to an underlying state that didn't consent. Because what you're really going to make is a conflicted state where you may have different parts fighting with each other. So in order to just not use pushing it off to another part and victimizing another part, we're going to do it a little bit differently. But before we look at the pain from the part that we do, we're going to have people be medically cleared and make sure that they're also using all the resources they have to make their situation better. To me, I always tell my clients, if I can help you 5% and like doing yoga can help you 5% and your doctor can help you 5%, like pretty much we have 15%. That's pretty good. So encourage them to engage in self-care and engage with their medical professionals as well. And also tell them that the pain might never go away and they might need to make friends with it or at least have a peaceful relationship with it, because we can't promise them anything like that. But we can probably promise them that they can make a peaceful relationship with it. So Dr. Emerson has 2 protocols for pain, which to me speaks about how much of a big deal pain is, because it's the only thing that actually has 2 protocols to deal with it. So one is organic pain and one is psychosomatic pain. So pain that is specific only to a certain place might be psychosomatic. So did anybody else have a tummy ache when they thought about doing their presentation? Because yes. I did. I did. That's psychosomatic pain. But now, even at the point where we have a blunt force injury, like a car hits our car and breaks our leg, there's a gap between the time the event happens and the sensation of pain is being felt. So, but all psychosomatic pains can become uncontrollable organic pain if it's given the wrong condition. And the idea that pain is all in your head shouldn't ever mean that the pain isn't real or that it doesn't actually hurt. It just means that we might be able to resolve it easier than if it's also from a physical injury, like a traumatic brain injury, because there's certain things like a traumatic brain injury that, there's only so much recovery you could really have from it, so if it's all in their head, that's a blessing.
Nice.
Deciding your protocol can be the hardest part, but when you're in doubt, start with the psychosomatic protocol. The reason why it's hard is because tension and migraine headaches can be psychosomatic, or they can be a tumor. Epileptic seizures can be psychosomatic, brought on by stress, or they can be, well, that's not the right one. I needed to fix that slide. IBS can be from psychosomatic, or it can be your gut flora. Mm-hmm. PTSD, it can also be ADHD, which can also be PTSD, which can also be bipolar. There's a lot of environmental factors can cause asthma, right? Panic disorder also, we're learning a lot about the vagus nerve. It can be a vagus nerve infection, or it can be caused by a traumatic brain injury. So that's where you kind of just go to starting with the psychosomatic protocol, because it is, even though it sounds like organic must be bigger, in a lot of ways psychosomatic is really where you want to start, because that covers a lot of bases. Because what I found with working with pain, because I do a lot of pain work in my practice, is it's almost like there's like a hurt locker in your body, and a lot of parts can store their pain in the same place. Like a lot of people like to store their pain in their stomach, you know? It's like, oh, where does it hurt? Oh, it's, you know, so there can be a lot of different parts that are holding pain in the same place. So the psychosomatic protocol, what Dr. Emerson did was he talked about that the states that are holding pain are either evaded in fear, rejection, or their dissonant state. Or we have the organic protocol, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you like want to really go through vivifying. Like, you know, when you have the questions, don't skip a question. Get it really, really good, because pain is something we avoid. So you want to really get them to vivify really well. And that helps you to decide which one of the ways you want to go with the psychosomatic protocol. And then if the psychosomatic protocol doesn't provide relief, use your organic protocol. So with your psychosomatic protocol, these are your actions that you're going to use. Okay. So first you're going to vivify, do a really good job of vivifying. I find it helpful to get a number on the pain scale for the pain, but Dr. Emerson doesn't explicitly say that you need to do that, but he doesn't say not to do it either. But I think it's healthy because it helps you to know, let's say if their pain was a 8 and it goes down to a 6, you know, oh, I could probably do another pass at it and maybe another part will come up that might be able to get it down another 1 or a 2, or do you get what I mean? So you're going to vivify, then you're going to bridge and attain an age for the state, funnel them to the ISC, okay?
Nice.
If you find that it's fear or rejection, you're either one, you're going to use expression. If they're having abreaction, which means they get really upset, they're like, I can't do this, I can't do this, you can ground them. This isn't really happening right now. Or you can say shrink them down to this. Sometimes I'll say a Barbie, depending on who it is, or I'll say shrink him down and put him in a mason jar. Like the shrinking down could be cultural, you know, like whatever you think fits with that person.
Nice.
Or put them in or if it's an event, put it in a snow globe where they can view the event with a little distance from it. But realistically, letting them kind of be able to go there is really important. Okay, so if it's evaded in fear, then you just go ahead with the rest of your evaded in fear protocol. So you're gonna remove, relief, find a resource, and do an imagery check. If it's evaded in rejection, you use the rest of your evaded with rejection protocol. So they do their introject speak, well, because they expressed, right? So you see they expressed, then they do their introject speak. Then they do removal, relief, find resource, imagery check. If you find the pain comes situationally, like they go back and they're like, it's this car accident, right? Skip, there's no one to express to, no reason to express, there's no one to express to. And you're just gonna use the remainder of the protocol for your dissonant state. So you're gonna find a resource and do an imagery check. Okay, so with the psychosomatic pain protocol, it helps to have a second session or continuing working at it more after the imagery check, keeping and refocusing on the pain. To me, this is where it comes in handy to do a pain scale. So you can just recheck and then you can just do the same thing again. If you need to, if you find another part that might be storing the same kind of thing, you can go to that same, so just run through it again. If you find you've done your protocol for psychosomatic pain and nothing has really resolved, it was a 7, it's still a 7, we'll try the organic protocol, okay? Which is finding and naming the evaded state that's experiencing the unwanting pain and appreciating that part. Because it's been doing a lot of work. Let's say this is a part that is, you know, I got really hurt, I got injured in, you know, I had a stroke when I was, 12 years old, or and it's been managing it as a 12-year-old ever since that time, right? That's a part that needs a lot of appreciation. And then we're gonna look and see if we can find another part that would enlist or volunteer or in some other way willingly want to take on that organic pain. And then we're gonna teach that part once it presents itself. It might be, a part that's, you're looking for a part that's like a hero, a volunteer, wants to, like an advocate or a part that is very, very strong and like
Courageous.
Like I can do this, right?
Yeah.
It feels like I really want to take this. So you're gonna name it, and then also you're gonna teach it the separation sieve, so that it doesn't have to always be holding all this pain. Because I don't know, because he didn't really express this in there, but I'm like, if that part goes on so much without a separation sieve, does it become a retro state? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
the separation sieve might be really important to keep it, the hero from becoming a retro maybe.
Absolutely. Or becoming overwhelmed. Good point.
Yeah. So then you have the Veda state, go back to the ISC, you do an imagery check, and then you're going to do a second session, and you're going to follow up with the part that volunteered to see how it's doing, give it appreciation and support, and remind it like to use its separation sieve and support it in its important work of diverting the majority of the pain sensations from reaching the conscious state. You know, you're not really trying to ever promise somebody like, I can promise you a pain-free life, but a little bit, and even telling them like, if you could get a 5% reduction in your pain, would you take it? Everybody usually goes, yes. You know, so even if that part can take 5%, you express appreciation for it because it's 5% better. So resistant parts are the tricks that you got to come around. I mean, again, he doesn't expressly say that they're retro, but when Trina was doing her talk, I thought maybe they're a little bit.
They are.
So resistant parts are protecting a fragile part, or it's afraid of letting the fragile part into the conscious. So there's a difference between just protecting it and being afraid of it being in the conscious, right? Because it might be not so nice to that fragile part. Too, we don't know. It's not only, it could be protecting it for its own bad purposes too, right? Because it's like afraid of what the fragile part will say about it, or who knows. So when you're working and dealing with the pain, you're going to figure out how to help the resistant part to ally with your therapist in order to prevent it from fighting the therapy process. So once again, if you're not sure if the pain is organic or psychosomatic, always start with a psychosomatic protocol. That way you're going to find any vaded parts, kind of get them to normalcy. And also that will allow then that resistant part to feel more comfortable, right? If you find little vaded parts and get them normal. It also will address the root of all the pain, which is a feeling. It's a feeling, right? Like we're really talking about a feeling. Even if it's a strong, horrible feeling, it's still just a feeling. So when we're talking about resistance alliancing with resistant parts, I like to think of them as parts with trust issues. So they don't do well with being dismissed, disregarded, or being told what to do. They have control issues because they're over functioning, they're not good at relaxing, they're not good at trusting, right? So you're going to acknowledge them, right? I can see there's a part that's very protective of whatever vaded state we find. What can I call you? Let it give you a name, and you can maybe reframe it in a way if you need to. If you feel like it's like, oh, I do everything, like, you know, figure out a name that feels like a good fit. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you for all the protection you're always doing. It's a tiring job, and you're very concerned about whatever the vaded state is. It must also be tiring doing protecting so much, and usually it will agree. Yep. So then you suggest, I know how hard it is to be on guard all the time. I'm here to help. I have skills that help this vaded state. If you would like to watch, you can just take a rest for this time, but you're welcome to keep an eye or an ear open. But otherwise, you can feel peaceful and rest just for this session. Now, I have some things that I do if I think I need to sell sometimes, because they really have trust issues. So some of the things that I use to sort of sell to them. Well, for one thing, thinking about those parts as maybe having attachment issues. So one of the things you do with attachment issues is you connect and then you correct. So the part that we're really doing in the connect is acknowledging, appreciating. The correct part is the suggestion, right? You might have to do a lot more work on connecting before you suggest, even though we all want to jump into suggest, right? But spending your time connecting with resistant parts is sort of like, that's the key. Because if they don't let you in, you can't even do anything. So sometimes what I'll say is, how long have you been working with this part, trying to manage this pain? Usually I'll say a long time. And you say, how's that working? You know, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. How do you feel if I just try it for a little bit? I find resistant parts like that because it's an intellectual thought, like the definition of insanity, blah, blah, blah. So they can kind of go, yeah, I guess it doesn't really hurt to let somebody else try it for a while. So they'll relax. The other part that I like to do is I say, there was another part I wanted to tell you guys, but I think I forgot to write it down. Okay. So if it doesn't want to just, if it doesn't want to, then what you're going to do is when it interrupts, you're going to engage it by saying, I wonder what whatever state it was feels about what you just said. So let's say you're talking to the Vedic state and it pops in and says, oh, it doesn't understand. Say, I wonder what Vedic state feels about what you said. How does that make you? And you say Vedic state. Head just said blah, blah, blah. How does that make you feel? So the effect of that is it makes head put its listening ears on instead of speaking. And it gives a speaking floor back to the fragile state by having it speak about the resistant part. And then after it speaks about the resistant part, you can then see if you can get yourself back to, like now we're back to having the controlling part with listening ears, and we have the Vedic part back to speaking, right? Okay, so those are the things that Dr. Emerson talked about. I have other things that I really love that I use in pain stuff that I would be happy to talk to you guys about. But if you have any questions, and then we can play some pain and somatic presentations bingo if you guys want to, if we have time.
Oh, yeah, bingo. Oh, that sounds like fun. Questions. Yeah, so there's 2 protocols, the appreciation, suggest, and I like the way you're working. It sounds like almost that's an engagement sort of way almost when you connect and correct. I like that. Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Yeah. Anyone else have any questions for Cindy? Maybe we could play bingo. Let's play bingo.
You guys want to play bingo? Okay, so you can click on that link.
So in our chat, isn't it, the link?
In your chat, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you guys got your bingo, because I have bingo prizes too. So you guys, whoever wins bingo is getting an eyelash kit. I'm gonna mail it to you. Because I thought this will make you guys, even the boys, even Andy.
Yeah.
If you want it, Andy, it will look really good on you. Okay.
Always eyelash kit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. All right. So did you pull up your little bingo card?
Yeah. Can you put it on your screen as well, perhaps, Cindy? So we
yes. I'm gonna see if I can do that. How do I do that?
Stop that share and perhaps a new one.
Oh, good idea.
Okay. Just
all right. No, I have to find a new one. I see what you mean. Oh, right. Where's our chat?
Just click on that link. I can.
Oh, I found it. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me do this again. Oh, share screen. Okay. Okay, guys. So you're just gonna click on that link, and it'll say generate a card. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna ask you guys questions about these bingo things as well. So this will sort of be your questions, okay? So these are questions that are from is a pain that is situationally based more likely to be organic or psychosomatic? Who can answer it?
What was the question again?
Is a pain that is situationally based more likely to be organic or psychosomatic? And if you answer it, you get to pick if it's BINGO, so it'll like, benefit you.
Okay.
So if you answer it, you get to pick wherever that question is on your board, you get to put it on there. Is a pain that is situationally based more likely to be organic or psychosomatic?
So that is when it happens in a situation. So it would
like I have to give a presentation and my stomach hurts.
psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic.
Okay, all right. Who answered that? Who answered it? Was it Trina?
I think Philippa beat me.
No,
Philippa. Okay, Philippa. What letters are you gonna pick?
B.
Okay, you guys. B, psychosomatic. If you have B, psychosomatic, you can put that one down. Okay, is PTSD more likely to be organic or psychosomatic?
Psychosomatic.
All right. What letter do you want? What number? What letter do you want?
I don't actually have a psychosomatic thing.
No, you have to have PTSD. You have to choose where your PTSD is. Because the answer, PTSD is the one.
I've got N.
Okay, so you got N. Okay, good. All right. What about ADHD? Likely to be more organic or psychosomatic?
Organic.
Yep. All right, Andy, what letter?
N.
N. Okay, good.
I don't quite get picking the number. Can you?
Well, because is your ADHD under the letter N?
Yes.
That way, so you know what I mean? So if anyone else has it under there, then they can get it too.
And as you've said organic, can I do that as well or not? Because it says organic.
Yeah, okay, maybe we should just do like that. Okay, pick it. Okay, if you have it on your board, then pick it on there. That'll be better. Okay, so we can do, or I've never done, so we've done PTSD, ADHD, organic, and those are the three ones that we've done so far, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, is panic disorder more likely to be organic or psychosomatic?
Psychosomatic.
What do you guys think? Yeah?
Yep, psychosomatic.
Okay, good. All right. So we pick psychosomatic for that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Is psychosis more likely to be organic or psychosomatic?
Gases will be organic, wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is more likely to be organic. I mean, there's things that could be psychosomatic, but mostly, yeah. What about bipolar? Organic or psychosomatic?
Organic.
Organic, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about anorexia? Organic or psychosomatic?
Psychosomatic. Oh, anorexia.
What did you guys say?
Psychosomatic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so bonus points. What would it be weighted in? What's the anorexia weighted in?
Rejection.
Yeah.
Yay!
Woohoo. Why is it not advisable to suggest to a client that pain will not be felt?
Because it can be protective.
Mm-hmm.
We need pain.
Yes. I consider it a bit of the part of the resistance alliance thing because, when that protective part does not go for promises. It's not trusting. So part of it is you shouldn't promise what you can't deliver. But also, if you were to tell a person, I can't tell you that I can get rid of your pain, but maybe we can get 5% or 10%. It's more likely that any resistant parts will be more open to you because they'll say, this person is not trying to BS me, right? So when all parts are listening, Philippa always says, all parts are listening.
It's also not as brittle as well in terms of if they do experience some pain, it doesn't. I presume it doesn't cause all the other benefit to collapse. If you're gonna
that's
say
true.
100% and you just have like they even if it's like 90%, but they feel some pain, it could erode the other 90% of benefit or 50% of benefit. It doesn't really matter what percent.
Right. If you're not sure if the cause is organic or psychosomatic, which one should you start with first?
Psychosomatic.
Yes. if the psychosomatic protocol doesn't work, what should you do next?
Try the organic protocol.
Ah, so now let's say you're doing the organic protocol.
Or the acknowledgement.
Yeah, and then like there's a resistant part that comes up. What should you do?
Go, Trina.
The acknowledgement, or just getting it on side. If it's not working, then use the engagement or acknowledgement. One of those two.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to do a quiz on all of our actions. Who knows their actions, guys? What's action 2?
Verify specific.
Yes. What's action 3?
Bridging.
Yes. What's action 7?
Relief.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're good. What's action 5?
Expression.
Introject, speak.
Oh, interject. Ugh.
That's all right.
Bzz.
Well, I am doing them out of order. You can still mark it off. What's action 4?
Expression.
Yes. Who is it expressing to? Bonus points.
And interject.
Object.
Yes. What is panic disorder organic or psychosomatic?
Psychosomatic.
Yes. What is action 12?
Imagery check. Someone else did that.
What's the benefit of imagery check, you guys, when it comes to pain?
See if it's working.
Check your work.
Yeah, check your work and see if you need to move on from psychosomatic to organic, or if you need to do another pass because there may be other little beta stakes in there. Okay, good. Why is the engagement method really important? Why is it really important to engage with resistant parts?
Good if the first step doesn't work for acknowledgement, appreciation, success. It suggests then you can go to that, engage with respect. Get it on site.
Yes. Is psychosomatic pain just like, who cares? It's not that important. We don't need to treat it.
No,
Why not?
it's very important because it's, it's hard to, without clearing that and addressing that, it's one of the big things to address the pain, because if you've got the psychosomatic cause, it needs to be addressed so that they can be the pain reduced going forward.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, everything is sort of psychosomatic, right? Like everything kind of starts in, like our whole like neural network is like connected, and it's like a mind, body, spirit. So even if we think something is just in somebody's head, that's still a place, right?
Mind body connection. Yes.
Yeah. What is action 6?
Removal.
What are we removing?
The introject. Or we're giving them the choice to remove the introject.
What is action 8?
Find resource.
Why is that important with pain? Or when would that be important with pain?
So that a more courageous part could volunteer to take the pain.
Yeah, because we're not going to just say, oh, this surface part, oh, you're in pain here, we'll give it to some little part that's below surface that isn't speaking up, right? Like that's not really curing anything. That's just making another part hurt. What was I feeling when I had to follow Trina's presentation and my stomach was hurting? Situationally based pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good. And we all know, what is action 13?
Oh, I've got bingo.
You have bingo.
No,
Who doesn't have bingo at this point? We have like, you have bingo. You're getting
Bingo-
eyelashes,
bingo's
Andrew. I'm
9.
so glad Andy's getting eyelashes.
And he's getting eyelashes. Bingo.
Is bingo the whole board, or is it a line across the board?
Well, I don't know. With like blackout bingo or the one line bingo, I don't know. I should have thought it through all the way.
Oh,
I've got about 50.
Well, what is
I've
action
got the whole
13?
board.
We didn't do action 13. How did you black out if you didn't do action 13?
yeah. Continue, Cindy. Just
Okay, what is action 13, you guys?
That's resistance allowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like one that's really not, like, we don't really use it a lot, but I think it's really important. And what is action 14? What is it we give to the resource that volunteers? It says, like, I'll take on this pain. What are we giving him? Yeah. And why? Why are we not just saying, here you go, you're taking it on, that's awesome, be a hero, bye? Why are we teaching it a coping skill?
So it has a way to process and not be burdened, and therefore become like a potentially evaded state or a retro from being overburdened, overwhelmed.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, that is it. I think that's like blackout bingo.
Bingo.
All right, you guys. I need to work on my bingo skills. I can't believe I live in Las Vegas and I didn't even figure out like how the winner would be.
Was that
All
your
right.
end of your presentation?
That is the end of my presentation. Am I on time?
I think so. It's okay. It was important. Woo! Give Cindy a big clap. Yeah.